like help these two people. Don't even bother with me. They checked me. Everything else fine, but I got lucky with it.
Sentenced to life in prison, Frank James received that life sentence for each of the 10 people he injured.
Subway shooter who injured 10 in a crowded Brooklyn subway car in New York is sentenced to life in prison, guys. Life in prison, guys. He took a weapon into the subway. He had a plan. He was a prophet of doom, what he claimed himself to be. And now he's facing 10 years, guys. Let's look at this article. This was back in April 2022. I came face to face with mumbling Brooklyn subway shooter. Here's what he said. A traveler told the Post that he came face to face with the mass shooter who opened fire in a crowded subway Tuesday and was targeted by a mumbling madman first. The subway fighter Fidim Giloshi recalled how he was on the Manhattan-bound in train just before 8:30 a.m. in Brooklyn when he noticed a suspect sitting in the corner muttering to himself. I looked at him and I thought to myself, he was talking to himself for like a while. So I looked at him and I was like, this guy must be on drugs, Giloshi said outside of second precinct at Sunset Park after talking to cops on Tuesday afternoon. When the train briefly stopped on the ground after leaving the 59th Street station, the suspect suddenly whipped out a gas mask, she said. When the train was about to hit 36th Street, we stopped for 5 minutes. He took out said gas mask from one of his little luggages, the witness said. He opened one of his gas tanks and said, oops, my bad. He pulls out an axe. He drops it. He takes a gun out and starts shooting. The writer claimed that the suspect shot at him first, but he managed to dodge the bullet and emerged unscathed. This is him giving his account of that. Let's watch.
I opened the door. There's like a bunch of people who are wounded. One's like, I don't know, dead or something. I don't know what happened. And it was crazy because we got in the R train. I told MT workers to come help the two people that was in the second car. And it was crazy. I told the cop, like, help these two people. Don't even bother with me. They checked me. Everything else fine, but I got lucky with it.
Man, that's crazy. Imagine being the one targeted first by a mass shooter that goes out and shoots 10 people, and you manage to escape. That's, God has his hand in that, that's for sure. Here's the graphic picture of these people who were shot. Oh, it's horrible. Look at this. There's smoke from the gas. There's blood on the ground. There's people sitting there in pain. This guy's shot. He's on his leg. Terror on the in train. Oops, my bad. Gunman's chilling words as he unleashed smoke bullets. Shot 10, injured 19. More in rampage. Person of interest. Deranged rant. Wow. Oh, that's graphic. One guy gets shot right next to me. Says, help, what you said. I tell the person to help him out. Cover the blood for him. I jump over, I bang on the door, and I kick it with my leg. By the time the train pulled into 36th Street Station, the car was littered with wounded New Yorkers bleeding from the suspect's barrage of bullets. In all, 10 were shot and 19 wounded, official says. Miraculously, no one suffered life-threatening injuries. Law enforcement sources said the suspect's 9mm Glock apparently jammed, thankfully it did, amid the bloodshed, preventing more casualties. I got lucky with it. It was crazy, Megaloshi said, adding he was scared. Of course, I would be terrified too. The identified suspect is still in the land. Okay, this was, like I said, 2020, April of what happened, guys. Imagine that, going to the subway, you're just out, going for your route, going to work, leaving, going to visit friends, and a gunman pops out of nowhere with the Glock and starts popping rounds off. Man who injured 10 in subway sitting, he gets life to prison now, guys. So it's been about a year since then. He went to trial and he got life. Frank J. He's lucky he didn't get the death sentence or something like that. He gets to live his time out in jail for what he did, which he deserves to be in jail. Don't get me wrong. Frank James, the man responsible for the mass shooting on New York City subway car in 2022, was sentenced Thursday to life in prison. The Associated Press AP reports the 64-year-old had previously pled guilty to terrorism charges related to the April 12, 2022 incident in which he wound up wounding 10 individuals aboard the Manhattan-bound train, according to the AP. Prosecutors argue James had thoroughly planned the attack to inflict maximum damage. In contrast, his defense requested a reduced 18-year sentence, suggesting he didn't intend to kill and had severe mental illness. Really, he didn't intend to kill, but he had severe mental illness. So you take a gun to a train and you're not actually going to kill people. I mean, he pulled an axe out and said, "Oops, my bad." Like, the guy was out for blood. He was out to kill people, and thankfully he didn't kill people. 3 individuals present were, when the attack occurred, addressed the court during the sentencing. One of them, 21-year-old Fatim Gulush, began recounting the traumatic events, but was overcome with emotion and had to leave the courtroom. The outlet reported. Here's a picture of him being led out by FBI police officer. Breaking, a man who wound up 10 people in a rush hour subway shooting in New York last year has been sentenced to life in prison. Prophet of Doom, that's what he called himself in his rants in an online website. On the day of the attack, James, disguised as a construction worker, set off smoke bombs and fired a slew of bullets at passengers from a 9mm handgun. He allegedly waited until the train was moving between stations to carry out the attack. The victims' ages range from 16 to 60. James calmly exited a subway station after the attack, AP reported, and evaded authorities for over a day. He was later apprehended in Manhattan's East Village after turning himself in via a police tip line. Prior to the attack, James, under the alias Prophet of Doom, posted numerous online videos discussing race, violence, and his mental health struggles, according to the AP. Mr. James is not evil. He is very, very ill, Frank's attorney said. Of course he did. He's trying to get him off. Mia Eschner-Grainberg said during the hearing she emphasized the defendant's challenging upbringing in the Bronx and battles with alcoholism and paranoid schizophrenia, according to the AP. Prosecutors maintain James aimed to do the most amount of lethal damage by firing into center mass. They argued it was due to luck and not his conscious choice that none of his victims were fatally injured. The output reported James had been detained without bail at the Metropolitan Detention Center for 17 months since the attack.
Has been sentenced to life in prison. Frank James received that life sentence for each of the 10 people he injured. Aaron, tell us now, what did the suspect say in court?
Frank James took responsibility for the attack that injured 10 people on that crowded Brooklyn subway car. It was heading into Manhattan at rush hour when James, who had disguised himself as a construction worker, a transit authority construction worker, went into the subway, set off a smoke grenade, and then opened fire on the passengers. And in court, prosecutors showed the aftermath, the blood-stained subway car that was left as passengers went fleeing for their lives, and thankfully nobody was killed. James in court said that those passengers did not deserve what he did to them, and he was sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms, one for each of the victims.
And who can forget that cell phone video we were just...
Wow. Craziness, guys. There's no shortage of cuckoo nut jobs around the States, guys. They're everywhere. I mean, look at this picture here. Subway shooter Frank James draws comparison to Jordan Neely as he receives a prison sentence for a horrifying attack that left 10 people wounded. The impact of such violence on innocent commuters is deeply concerning. I mean, here he is, guys. The complete nut job that caused this mayhem. Sick. Look at all this blood on the ground. There's smoke coming out. It looks like something out of a Hollywood horror film. Look at this, smirking for some reason. Clearly, this man is just completely out of it. Yep, guys. That's it for that one. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Buzz Review. I'll see you on the next one.